Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all to the lecture number 15 for the course of control system. My name is Engineer Jafar Ali and I'm your instructor for this course. So, this is the first part for the lecture number 15, and in today's class we will be discussing a topic that is very unique of its kind. The topic name is basically the root locus, and let's start with the recapitulation of the previous lecture. So you know that in the last class we have completed our chapter of the steady state error that we have concluded in the last week. So in that lecture we have studied that what is steady state error, how you can find the steady state error depending upon the three different type of inputs. The first input was a unit step, the second one was unit ramp, and the third one was parabolic. Unit step, ramp, and parabolic. These three were the inputs that we discussed. If you apply on a system using these three inputs, you can find a type of a system, and using that type, these are three inputs, and three types was type 0, type 1, and type 0, type 1, and type 2. Similarly, we found out three other constants, static error constants, that was position constant Kp, velocity constants Kv, and acceleration constants Ka. These were the major things. We also introduce ourselves to the disturbance and noises that are involved in finding the steady state value, and all for this done was for unity feedback system. And in the last of the lecture in the previous week, we have also included our lecture regarding the non-unity feedback system, that how you can find the steady state error for a non-unity feedback system. If you have to find the steady state error, you first have to convert that non-unity feedback system into a unity feedback system, so that you can find the value of ESS, or the steady state error. So this was all about the last lecture. So in today's lecture we will discuss another topic that is basically a root locus. And this root locus, I will discuss that what is root locus, and this root locus is involved in the digital and non-linear control systems, mostly non-linear systems where the roots are not linear, they do not act linearly, they act non-linearly, and mostly systems are actually natural signals, natural occurring signals are mostly non-linear. They do not vary linearly with time. They vary they basically are non-linear in nature. So let's start our discussion. So we will start our lecture from the introduction section. We will start the introduction, then we will find angle and magnitude condition, that how this if you look at your course outline, we have concluded our course, but this lecture is basically your bonus lecture, just so that you have a clear idea about the design purpose. You see, design is the basically operation, or you can say a burden on the engineer. But if you are going to implement a specific design, you have to need the basic idea of the design, and this things basically comes into a design section where you study and analyze the performance of any stable system or any provided system to you, and you based on this design you have to implement that system. So mostly people say that this is not including in their course, and it is also mentioned over there in your course that the last topic basically was covered in the previous lecture, but this is your bonus topic, and I will demonstrate it to you that how this design actually is made, and how do you read this design, and how you understand this design. Because before implementation, I prefer students to have a clear idea about the design. If you do not have the expertise in design, you do not, if you cannot design, and at least you can do is basically the least thing that you are able to do is basically to understand a ready-made design. So keeping that in mind, I will be starting today's lecture with the introduction of root locus, that how what is root locus, when it is used, where it is used, why this is used, and how this root locus is formed, and how do you construct it, what are the main examples of this root locus. So this will be covering all of these topic. So let's get started. So consider a non-unity feedback system, unity feedback system. You can see in the diagram, and the open loop transfer function for this is mentioned over. This is your capital G, and the closed loop is basically the same, this thing divided by 1 plus g of s. So if you solve this k divided by 1 plus g of s, so it will give you s k divided by s plus 1 plus k. So this will be your by the same formula. This is the same formula which we have studied in the lecture number 2 or 3, I guess, and it is the same in the last of this lecture. So this location of the closed loop pole, you can see that based upon this value of k, the roots will be changed. So location of this closed loop pole for different values of k, remember that k should be greater than 0. So if you put the value of k greater than 0, because if you put the value of k equal to 0, this thing all becomes 0. The whole transfer function becomes 0. It means there is nothing to left. So if you put the value of k greater than 0, let's ignore it. If you put 0.5, you will get the value of the poles will be at -1. If you put this 0.5, so this will become 1.5 s plus 1.5, and if you equate it to 0, the value of s will be this. Actually, this is something like this, -1.5. Similarly, if you put the value of k equal to 1, so 1 plus 1 become 2, and you shift it to another side, it will become -2. Similarly, for k is equal to 3, this pole will go at -3, and if you put the value of k is equal to 3, it will go on -4. If you put the value of k 5, it will go to -6, and the list goes on. For 10, it is -11. For 15, it is -16. You see that whichever value you put the value of k, whatever value you put, you're getting the value in the minus region. All the signs are on the negative side, so it means all the poles are basically on the left hand side. So it means the system is mostly stable for all of the values of k. You see that this is your 0, and all of the poles are basically on this side of the x-axis. So this is very much a stable system. And how do you analyze? So how do you basically predict that in future, at let's say you cannot basically try for every value of possible value of k, because there are thousands of values. There could possible thousands of possible values for the k, but you are not able to actually demonstrate for each value, because it is humanly impossible to evaluate every value of k, every value of pole for every value of k. So this will be a humongous task, and nobody will be able to perform it manually. So for to minimize the complexity cost, and to minimize the time, the thing that is used is basically the root locus. So the root locus is the path followed by the root of the characteristic equation, and it should be traced out in a S-plane as a system parameters from varies from 0 to infinity. So for every possible value, this root locus will provide you a generic idea that these poles are going to be on this side of the half plane, or any other side of the half plane. So just by drawing of this map of this root locus, you can easily predict the values, the possible values that will be having of that roots. So how do you sketch the root locus? So the one way, the most easier way is basically you have to find every other value, and then you draw the value of k in the axis. For example, if you have the values, you have the characteristic equation, you just put the value of k and you draw the poles, something like this. So Computing the roots of all values of k might be a tedious or higher for a higher system. So if I ask you the value of k in such equation, it was very easy system in previous example. It was very easy. You just have the value. For 1 it is -2, for 2 it is -3. If I ask you what is the value of a pole if k is equal to 100, so you can easily say it is -101. So it is very much easier. So if you put the value of k is equal to 100, it will 100 plus 1, it will -101. So it is very much easier in such equation. But if the roots are become more complex, or the roots become higher order, you can see that this is a higher order system. So now it is very much serious task if you perform the same operation. So it will take much of your time to find the value of a pole for every k. So to save this task, to save our time, we have the authors and the mathematicians have developed a method to find the path of that roots, that this root will follow this path. So the finding the roots of the characteristic equation of degree higher than 3 is a laborious and will need computer solution. So it is not humanly possible, as I've told you. So a simple method is developed for finding the roots from the characteristic equation. These methods were developed by the author, and his name was V.R. Evans, and this is mostly used in control systems engineering. Now this method is known as this root locus method, and it is one of its own kind. It is very much easier to plot. You can just plot it on the paper, and you can predict the path of the roots. That root will start from here and root will end over here, and it will not go into this region. So this will not go into this region. The roots will be remaining following the path starting from this side, and it will end on this side. So this will make your effort, make your task very easy. So let's start with the construction of this root locus. So the roots corresponding to a particular value of this parameter can be located using the graph, and by using this graph you can easily predict. This is the same theory which I have just mentioned now, that by just judging, just drawing, or just drawing the paths or the maps of this one route, you can easily find that this route will not be going into any other region of the half plane. So the system will be stable for all of the roots. Or if the roots are going on another half plane, you can easily predict that the system will be unstable in future. So this will basically make our work very much easier as compared to the RH criteria. But this is just you can say a more smartly you can say slightly complex as compared to the RH criteria, which was there for the analysis of the stability of the system. So let's talk about the angle and magnitude conditions. So in construction of the root locus, there are two things that you need to satisfy. The first one is the angle criteria, and the second one is the magnitude criteria. And let's talk about this criteria. So consider a system as you can see in the figure. This is a non-unity feedback system, and the closed loop path, the closed loop transfer gain will be something like g of s divided by 1 plus g of s into h of s. So now the characteristic equation for this system will be equal to 0. 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. You can find this equation by putting it is equal to 0. And if you find the value of g of s or h of s, it will be equal to -1. Now this g of s and h of s is a complex quantity, and it cannot it can be split. You know that if it is a complex quantity, because you see that this is equal to -1, and if you take the square, it will not be possible to take the square of this thing. So it means it is a complex quantity. It is not be simplified any further. So you know that for any complex quantity there are two parts. The first one is the angle, and the second one is magnitude. So the angle, the criteria of the angle is basically the g of s and h of s of for the angle of this should be equal to, you can see that it should be equal to plus 80 degree plus minus 180 degree into 2k plus 1, and this k is basically nothing but any of the things. But now you see that this will be occurring at odd number of times because you are adding plus 1. So if you put the value of k is equal to 1, this will become thing will become an odd number, that is 3. If you put the value of k is equal to 2, this will become 5. So for every odd number you will it will be multiplied with 180 degree. Even numbers are not included because you are now adding plus 1 to any of the value of the k. Similarly, the magnitude, let's talk about, so this was about the angle. The magnitude of g of s, h of s minus 1 is, you know that you have to take the mod of this thing, and if you take the mod of this thing you will get plus 1. So this is the magnitude criteria. This should be equal to this thing, and this angle of this should be equal to plus minus 80 into odd numbers of 180 degrees. So this is the whole diagram of the area criteria or the area magnitude condition. So the value of s, basically the values of s that fulfill both of these criteria are the possible roots of that characteristic equation. If a certain equation of certain values of s does not fulfill these two criteria, it means that these values of s are not the roots of that equation. So as I've told you that it is a quite complicated task as compared to the RH criteria, but it is mostly used when you are trying to solve systems which are more complex. So in a most complex system, this is very much easier to apply. Let's talk about the construction, how you can construct a root locus, a diagram that will tell you that the system is going to be stable for what value of k or what value of s, and the system will be unstable for a specific value of s. So how do you construct a diagram? So the first step that is basically there in order to construct a root locus plot is you have to find the open loop poles and zeros in the S-plane. So it is very much easier if this equation is given to you and you know that the open root poles zeros are, there are no zeros in this equation, and there are 3 poles. The first pole is basically at s is equal to minus s is equal to 0. The second one is at s is equal to minus 1, and the third one is s is equal to minus 2. So you see that there are 3 poles. So first one is 0, minus 1 and minus 2. You have constructed the first 3 open loop poles on the S-plane. The next thing what you have to do is basically you have to find the find the angle criteria. So negative of the angle s minus negative of the angle s plus 1 and the minus angle of the this thing s plus 2. These are the 3 terms. So you have to basically add them, but with the negative sign, because you know the formula, it was, you can see that it was minus 1. So let's talk about this. So angle should be equal to this thing. So coming toward the step number 2, let's start with the test point. Let's say we have a test point known as P1, and if you want to see that if this P1 actually is on the root locus or not, so we will just find the angle criteria. You can see that the angle criteria tells us that the angle should be equal to the odd parameters of 180 degrees. You have odd numbers of odd times of 180 degrees. The answer should be the sum. Their summation should be equal to odd times of 180 degrees. So if you see that sitting at this point P, this is at 0 degree. Similarly, this thing is also at 0 degree, and all of these are at 0 degrees. So all of these are at 0 degree, and you know that if you sum all of these s angle of s into a plus angle of s plus 1 plus angle of s plus 2, you will get 0 degree. But you have to get odd numbers of 180 degrees. So this means this point is not on the this means that this point is not on the root locus. Let's take up another point, this P2. So you see that these 2 poles of let's say s plus 1 and s plus 2, these are at 0 degrees, and only one is at 180 degree. You see that this is at 180 degree. Only this one is at 180 degree. So s is equal to 0, or you can say angle of s is at 180, angle of s is at 180, and all the other remaining 2 are at 0. So if you add all of these, you will get 180, which is the odd number of 180. So this means that this point P is actually on the root axis, root locus. So this point P2, you can see that this is odd number of 180. So this means that this is actually on the root locus. Now if you take this point P and put it in between this area, so you can see that now angle or one angle of 0 is over here, and there are two angle of 180 degree over here. So if you add 180 plus 180, you get 360. But you know that we have to get odd numbers of 180, and we are now getting 360, which is an even number, even parameter, even factor of this 180 degree. So it means that this point P3 will not be included in the root locus. Let's see. So this you see angle condition is not satisfied. You can see now that angle condition is not met because we have to get 180 or odd number of 180 degree over here, which is not satisfied because we are now getting 360. So it means that this point P3 is not on the root locus. Similarly, let's take this point P3 and place it over here at point P4. So you can see that sitting at this point P4, all three are at 180. So 180 and 180 360, and another 180 make this 540. So which is a odd parameter of 180 cross 3. So we are now getting 3 times of 180. We are now getting 3 points of 180, so which is the odd parameter or odd function of this 180 degree. So now this means that this point B4 is actually on the root locus. So we can predict that the root locus is basically is there from -2. This is -2, and it is anywhere towards infinity. So all of this portion will be on the root locus. So this root will be following this path from starting from here and going towards infinity, or coming from infinity and ending over here. So now construct the diagram. This P0 was not included on the root locus, so we have not mentioned that. P1 was there on the root locus, so we have drawn a line that this will be the maximum limits of these roots. These roots will be moving along this line. Similarly, this root will be moving along this line. These are the construction for the basics of a root locus. In the coming lecture, we will further discuss the construction methodology. This is just a start. There are many more topics that are remaining that need to be discussed. While construction of a complete root locus diagram, it is a huge topic which is not possible to complete in single lecture. So we will be covering that in the second part of this lecture. So keep watching. I will be discussing the next steps for the construction of complete root locus techniques in the coming class as well. The coming lecture, the second part of this lecture. So I'll see you in the second part. That's all for today. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.